the decorated columnist for the LA Times, and, of course, Around the Horn contributor Bill Plaschke joining us from San Francisco. How big a surprise were the Giants this year to you, Bill?
Well, they were such a surprise, Dan, that I was on the radio in May proclaiming they would not finish the season with a 500 record. I thought they were a mirage. I thought they were a mirage till the end. I thought the Dodgers were going to catch them. It wasn't until Dodger Stadium the last day of the season when suddenly the Dodgers were playing the Brewers, and suddenly the crowd breaks out in a Giants suck chant, and I knew the Giants had clinched the division. That's not until then that I believe they could do it. I don't know how they're doing it. Half these players haven't been in the playoffs before. Half of them, a year ago, I never heard of half of these guys. I mean, it's amazing what the Giants have done.
What would have been the fallout if the Dodgers had lost that game to the Cardinals?
Oh, baby. Well, I said they're going to be the best team in baseball history. So I said it before the season. So it'd have been steep. I mean, it wouldn't have been as bad as if they lost this series to the Giants, because it was a one-game coin flip with the Cardinals, and it wasn't really a fair. Baseball's so whacked in. I'm sure I'm sure you agree with me on this, right? That baseball should have seedings. The Dodgers shouldn't have played a wild card game, win 106 games, and the Dodgers shouldn't be playing the Giants this early in the playoffs. That's ridiculous. So I think the fallout wouldn't have been as bad as but if they lose to the Giants, it's going to be bad. It's going to be real bad. All the pressure's on the Dodgers. Giants are playing with house money. Dodgers have every bit of pressure on them.
But this is what I want to happen, Bill. Everybody's up in arms because the Yankees were in a one-game playoff and the Dodgers in a one-game playoff. That's when you have change. And I keep saying, if this was Toronto and Tampa, nobody would give a damn about it. If it was the Padres against the Giants in one-game playoff, nobody would care about it. It's the Dodgers and it's the Yankees, and maybe we see change with the one-game playoff.
John, I'll say, I don't agree with that with the Dodgers standpoint, even the Yankees, because it's just one game. They can always. The GMs and the executives can always say it was just a coin flip game. They lost one game. It would have been bad, but what's coming next? If the Dodgers lose, if they lose from here on out, it's a lot.
No. I'm talking about Major League Baseball making a change with the one game. Okay. And John Smoltz was on earlier this week, and he said, why don't you make the team who has less wins, they have to beat that team twice, whereas the team with more victories only has to beat that team once. I don't know if that's a solution here, but the one-game playoff, while I like it, I don't think it's fair, but I also think they should seed. Give the Dodgers
Absolutely.
credit for winning 106 games, and, they shouldn't be playing the Giants. I agree with that.
The Dodgers are being penalized for geography. That's it. It's all about geography. And baseball and sports pennant race, sports championship shouldn't be decided by geography, and that's what it is.
How big a concern, no Kershaw for the postseason?
Not as much as you would think. They have three good starters. I mean, they have with Scherzer and Buehler and Urias, and Tony Gonsolin has been good as a fourth guy. Not as much as you think. Kershaw had been up and down. He's always one that's sore elbow away from coming off the mound. I don't think I think much bigger concern is Max Muncy. Losing him is huge. That craters the Dodgers' middle of their lineup. He bats behind Trey Turner. He's given Trey Turner a lot of support this year. Muncy's a much bigger issue than Kershaw.
How much bigger do you think would Shohei Ohtani be if he played in Los Angeles as opposed to in Anaheim?
Oh, it's enormous. I mean, I've said this before on the show. Mike Trout could walk into a coffee shop in L.A. and nobody would know who he was. Shohei would be huge. And Shohei might eventually end up playing for the Dodgers because he's not happy, as I'm sure you've talked about. He's not happy down in Anaheim. He wants change. He wants them to get some pitching. He wants them to get better. He sees what's happened to Mike Trout. He doesn't want that to happen to him. Shohei's on the verge of he's all but asking for a trade. The Angels better improve quick or he's gone. And the Dodgers would snap him up in a heartbeat.
He's Bill Plaschke, LA Times columnist, Around the Horn contributor, joining us from San Francisco tonight at Oracle Park. It'll be game one. The best of five, by the way, National League Divisional Series. Best of five favor Dodgers or the Giants?
I think it favors the Dodgers because they have the three starting. You got to beat Scherzer, Urias, or Buehler. You got to beat one of them, and I don't think the Giants can do that. I just think the Giants were a fun story, a nice dream season. I just don't think they're built for the postseason, and they're not built for the starting pitching that the Dodgers have. And I think a 3-game series, 5-game series, it also mitigates Kershaw's loss. So I think it definitely favors the Dodgers. And I think the Dodgers are going to probably win this in 4. I don't think it even goes 5.
If I said you could pick the LA team to win a title this year, you can pick the Lakers now, you could pick the Rams to win the Super Bowl, you can pick the Dodgers to win the World Series.
Well, we already had Lakers and Dodgers. I picked the Rams because they tried so hard. They spent $5 billion on a stadium. They spent all these draft picks on Matthew Stafford. The Rams have done everything. Les Snead has done everything for his fans. They've done everything for their fan base. They have tried to be LA's team. It would be that would be the team to win. Although it's funny you didn't mention the Chargers. The Chargers are becoming LA's team a little bit, Dan. Don't sleep on the Chargers. Of course, you're always a Justin Herbert fan. I know that.
Yeah. I've been all in on the Chargers for 15 years, Bill. I'm waiting on them. They shouldn't be waiting on me, but I think the Chargers are a really interesting team, and but I'm not sure they always find the banana peel. There's always injuries or there's always disappointment.
Yeah, they have to get over it. They have to get over it themselves. Oh, I'll tell you this: the Charger PR staff, they give us parking right across the street from SoFi. The Rams make us park far away. So go Chargers. You know, Dan, we cheer for ourselves.
Oh, I know how it is to be in the media. Like, what do we have? What's our, the press box spread that we're going to have? Press box spread.
We've got the better break. That's what it's all about.
The Lakers roster, we already had Ariza, who's going to be out with.
Isn't that amazing? They've already lost a guy for a month. They're so old and creaky, but you know what? They've all got their damn vaccines. That's all I care about right now. They all got vaccinated. They're all sticking together. I've been impressed so far with what Westbrook has shown. He hasn't caused a stir yet. So let's wait and see. But I think just judging from the first week of practice and the media day and all that, they seem to be more connected. They seem to realize they're old, they're creaky, nobody believes in them. It's kind of bonded them. And I think maybe that collective wisdom could make them a better team than I thought they were going to be.
Well, what I like with Westbrook is that I think he'll help LeBron during the regular season because Westbrook will probably take a majority of the ball, more minutes, and maybe you almost have load management for LeBron without actually calling it load management. And I think that's important. I think Anthony Davis being in good shape. Anthony Davis should be Giannis. He should be dominant.
Oh, he should be their MVP. He should be their leader. I've said this to him. I said this to everybody. Everybody said this out here. The most important thing in LA sports, perhaps in the last year, is how was his offseason? Did Anthony Davis make the commitment to get stronger and stay healthier? Because it's on his shoulders, and he's got to realize that. This should be his team, and it's not, and it should be. And I don't think they can win a championship if it's not. Because he's only got he's got the youth and he's got the versatility. You're right. He should be Giannis, and he's not. And it should bother him. I wish it would bother him more that he's not Giannis.
He should be better than Giannis because he shoots better than Giannis does. But Giannis, to me, and I've said this before, the difference between Giannis and Ben Simmons is Giannis is not afraid to fail. That hey, if I shoot a free throw and it doesn't look good, or my 3-point shot, he just never stops. Whereas Ben Simmons gets paralyzed, and he doesn't want to be embarrassed. And Anthony Davis is somewhere in between. All you
have to do with Anthony Davis, Dan, is watch LeBron's body language when Anthony Davis goes down. LeBron rolls his eyes, shrugs his shoulders. Anthony Davis is always wincing. He's always grabbing something. He's always hobbling. He's always limping. And it looks like he just is afraid to be himself sometimes. And that's a big Laker question as anything. And maybe Westbrook can get into him. And he said that. He said he wants Westbrook to get into him. Maybe the trouble Westbrook causes on these kind of teams will actually be a blessing for the Lakers.
I'm guessing that the Lakers used to be Showtime. Now you can call them Slow Time. Is that?
You call them bedtime, early bedtime. But you know what? I love it. Carmelo Anthony says it. He says we're old guys. LeBron says, LeBron reads everything.
I know.
They're using this but I'll say this, for all their connectivity and all their collective wisdom and all this stuff, they've already got, like I said, Ariza's already out. They already got one player out, and they're having barely start exhibition games, and one guy's already injured. So I just don't know how it's going to go.
Well, as long as you have Kyrie and what's going on, that nonsense with the Nets, it certainly helps the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, because that's the one. That's if the Lakers are at full strength, that's the only team that can beat them is the Nets. The only team that can win the championship besides the Lakers is the Nets. And I think they're probably looking at that. By the way, Dan, you notice this halo over my head here?
Yeah.
The LA Times books us if I'm platinum elite, I get booked into heaven.
Oh, is that what it is?
I'm in heaven.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, it's a great update. It's a great upgrade.
I like that. Bill Plaschke is in heaven. Yeah.
Platinum elite status gets you a lot these days.
That looks nice. Now that I'm looking at that, yes, you have.
Thank you.
There's a holistic illumination behind you. Very, very impressive. You're in a cult maybe in San Francisco there, Bill.
I gave him my card at the front desk, and they said, "All right, you're on your floor is heaven." LA Times spares no expense in putting us up.
I'm sure of that. Thank you, Bill. Play nice in San Francisco.
Thank you guys.
That's Bill Plaschke, LA Times sports columnist, Around the Horn contributor.